Article 1, Section 8. The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But in all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. Well, let's just look at the income tax. Income tax is not, it is not uniform throughout the United States. You have different tax brackets, and different people qualify for different tax brackets. And basically, the first paragraph of Article 1, Section 8 says, no, that's not right. All taxes have to be equal. So, income tax is fucked up. Just right here in Article 1, Section 8. But all taxation is theft. And what gives you the right to my property? I worked for my money. I earned my money. And yet you have the right, you think you have the right to take my money. Because you are a government official. Because you hold all the guns. And you have the threat of force. Now what happens if I don't pay my taxes? Well, the IRS comes after you, and they can levy your wages. They can garnish your wages, levy your property and stuff. They can even take your property. They can even take your house. And if you have no house and you still haven't paid, they can throw your ass in jail. Ask Wesley Snipes. Well, what makes you think that you own our money? Like, come on, seriously. Taxation is theft.
Nothing would be wrong on the plane. We had
to borrow money on the credit of the United States.
And we've had
to borrow money. You mean to shackle the future generations with debt. That's what you mean.
And then I got into Memphis.
To indentured servitude, to actually you're training the future generations, our kids and our grandkids, to pay for your spending, to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes, to establish uniform rule of naturalization, uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States. Well, let's look at bankruptcy law. Let's look at GM and how they got bailed out. Or let's look at Chrysler and how they got bailed out. Or let's look at the big banks. Basically, TARP. All these were just changing of the bankruptcy laws. Bankruptcy laws are supposed to apply equally to everyone, and that includes the banks and the big three car companies. I mean, if you're too big to fail, then you shouldn't fucking exist. Honestly, like bankruptcy laws are there to apply equally to everybody. What happened to equal justice under the law? Well, I guess we don't have equal justice.
I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man.
To coin money, regulate the value thereof, and foreign coin, to fix standard weights and measures, to provide for the punishment and counterfeiting of securities and current coin of the United States, to establish post offices and post roads, to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times and authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries, to contribute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to determine the punishment of piracies and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the laws of nations, to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and to make rules concerning captures on land and water, to raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years, to provide and maintain a navy, to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces, to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrection, and repel invasions. Well, let's talk about that in insurrection. Who determines what an insurrection is? And who determines whether it's just the people standing up for their rights? Who makes that determination? I thought you had a right to a trial by jury or whatever. These laws, these rights are enshrined right here in the U.S. Constitution. But how are you going to go ahead and say the militia can suppress insurrection? Well, I thought the militia was the people. So if the people are actually rising up to try to take their government back, who makes the determination that it's an insurrection? I mean, come on now. Something's not adding up there. To provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such parts of them as may be employed in the services of the United States, reserving to the United States respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority to train the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress, to exercise legislation in all cases whatsoever over such districts not exceeding 10 square miles as may by cession of particular states and the acceptance of the Congress become seat of government of the United States and exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of legislature of the state in which the same shall be, for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, deck yards, and other needing buildings. So this basically says that the state has the right to steal land from the people in order to erect forts, arsenals, deck yards, and magazines, and needful buildings. This basically gives them the right of eminent domain, which is bullshit because it's stealing, it's theft. If I can't steal, the government shouldn't be able to steal. To make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department officer thereof.